Listen to me. There's a truth about you that negative people can't stand. And the truth is this. You were built to rise. You were created to do something extraordinary. And every time you take a step toward your purpose, every time you choose to get up instead of giving up, every time you smile in the face of adversity, you make them uncomfortable. Negative people thrive on one thing: control. They want to control how you feel about yourself. They want to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. They want you to question your worth. Why? Because they see something in you that they don't see in themselves. They see strength in you that they never developed. And when you win, it reminds them of what they never dared to try. But here's the truth they hate: you don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You don't need their permission to be great. You've already been approved by something greater. You've already been given a gift, and when you decide to use it, no negativity can stop you. The problem is, too many of us give energy to people who only want to drain it. You let someone's opinion become your reality. You let their limits become your boundaries. You let their insecurity dictate your confidence. Not anymore. No more shrinking to fit into spaces that were never built for you. No more dimming your light because it's too bright for their comfort. Shine, let them squint, that's their problem. See the truth about you. The one they hate is that you've got resilience in your bones. You've got fire in your spirit. You've got the ability to fall and rise, fall and rise, fall and rise again. And that frustrates every negative person watching because they counted you out. They bet against you. They said you'd quit. They said you'd break, but you didn't. You're still here, stronger, smarter, hungrier. And let me tell you something. Your purpose is bigger than their gossip. Your dreams are louder than their doubts. Your future is stronger than their fear. So stop worrying about who doesn't like you, who doesn't support you, who doesn't believe in you. That's not your job. Your job is to believe in yourself so much that their negativity becomes background noise. They hate this truth because they can't take it away from you. They can't destroy what they didn't build. They can't cancel what they didn't create. So stand up, walk forward, stay focused. And when those negative voices start talking, you don't argue. You don't fight, you don't explain. You just keep moving because nothing silences negativity like success. Negative people dislike your ability to rise above challenges because every time you push through an obstacle, you remind them of what they refuse to overcome. They live in a mindset where quitting feels easier than fighting. And when they see you refusing to give up, it exposes their own excuses. They wanted you to stay down, to stay quiet, to stay stuck, because that would make them feel comfortable. But you didn't. You decided to get back up. You decided that the weight on your shoulders would not bury you, but build you. And that decision alone makes them uncomfortable because it proves something they've tried to deny for years. That strength is a choice, not a gift. When you rise above challenges, you're showing that determination, consistency, and faith can move mountains. And that makes negative people uneasy because it takes away their excuses. They can no longer say it's impossible when you're out here doing it. They can't say you can't make it when you're making progress every single day. Your ability to rise is a mirror they can't stand to look into. It reflects everything they've given up on. It forces them to question why they settled, why they stopped, why they accepted defeat as their reality. And instead of admitting that they quit on themselves, it's easier for them to try to pull you down. They want you to doubt yourself. They want you to believe that your efforts are pointless. They want you to think the struggle is too heavy because if you give up, it justifies their choice to do the same. But deep down, they know the truth. If you can rise, so can they. That's why your strength feels like an attack to them. It's not that you're doing anything to harm them. It's that your progress is shining a light on their complacency. The hate they feel isn't really about you. It's about what you represent. You represent perseverance. You represent courage. You represent possibility. And possibility scares people who have built their identity around limitation. They will try to label you as lucky, or say you have some advantage they don't, because admitting that you earned it through effort means they could have done it too. Negative people hate accountability, and your ability to rise forces them to face it. So they criticize. They gossip. They hope you fail because failure would give them comfort. But the more you rise, the less power they have over your story. Every step forward you take, every victory you claim, every challenge you overcome sends a message they can't ignore. Excuses don't win, effort does. And that truth burns them up inside because they've built their entire life on excuses, while you've chosen to build yours on resilience. Negative people want control over your confidence because they can influence how you see yourself. They can influence everything you do. Confidence is the foundation of action, and they know the moment you truly believe in yourself, nothing they say can stop you. That scares them because they can't handle the power that comes with someone who knows their worth. So they attack it. They throw little comments, disguised as jokes, meant to make you second guess yourself. They highlight your mistakes, exaggerate your flaws, and remind you of your failures because they want to keep you small. The smaller you feel, the easier it is for them to feel big. That's their game, pull you down so they don't have to climb up. When negative people try to control your confidence, they're really trying to control your future. They know that without confidence, even the most talented person can fail. They want you hesitant, afraid to take risks, and too doubtful to step into opportunities. They whisper things like you're not ready, that's too much for you, or people like you don't make it that far, because they want those words to echo in your mind long after they're gone. If you start believing those whispers, they win without lifting a finger, and they understand this strategy works on most people. Doubt is a silent killer of dreams, and they'll feed it to you in small doses until it feels like truth. But the truth is, their words are not a reflection of you. They're a projection of their own insecurity. They try to control your confidence because they've lost control of theirs. When people can't see greatness in themselves, they'll do everything to blind you from seeing it in you. They don't want you standing tall, they don't want you speaking boldly, and they definitely don't want you walking in rooms like you belong there, because it forces them to face the reality that they gave up on themselves. Your confidence threatens them because it reminds them of the power they surrendered. They know confidence is contagious too. If you start walking boldly, you might inspire others to do the same. And that terrifies them because negativity thrives in numbers. So they fight to keep you in doubt, to make you question every decision, to make you feel like you're never enough. The irony is, their need to control you proves how powerful you are. If you weren't a threat, they wouldn't bother. The moment you realize that, everything changes. You stop falling for their traps. You stop shrinking when they throw shade. You stop letting their fear dictate your future. Because confidence, real confidence, doesn't ask for permission. And the day you claim that truth is the day they lose all power over you. You don't need their approval or validation because the power to define your worth has never belonged to anyone else. Too many people spend their lives waiting for someone to clap for them before they take the stage, waiting for someone to say you're good enough, before they chase a dream. But if you wait for approval, you'll be waiting forever. Negative people hate this because when you stop seeking their validation, you take away their control. They can no longer manipulate you with silence or criticism because your confidence isn't tied to their opinion. And that's what makes you dangerous in their eyes. You're free. When you understand that you don't need anyone's permission to be great, you stop apologizing for who you are. You stop watering yourself down to make other people feel comfortable. You stop guessing your ideas because someone rolled their eyes or didn't clap loud enough. The truth is, their approval won't make you any more capable, just like their rejection won't make you any less. Approval doesn't add value to you. It only reveals the insecurity in people who think they have the right to validate you. You already came with value. Before anyone complimented you, before anyone believed in you, you were enough. And the day you decide to believe that is the day you become unstoppable. Negative people want you dependent on their validation because that dependence gives them leverage. If you need their approval to feel worthy, all they have to do is withhold it to control you. They can use it as a weapon to keep you small. They can make you work harder for their applause instead of your purpose. But when you stop playing that game, when you decide yourself, worth isn't up for negotiation, you take back your power. You take away the strings they tried to attach to your life. You become someone they can't predict, someone they can't manage, someone they can't stop. Living for approval is like chasing a moving target. It never ends. The same people who praise you today can criticize you tomorrow. And if your confidence depends on their opinion, you'll live on a roller coaster of emotions. But when your approval comes from within, when you know who you are and what you're capable of, their opinions become background noise. They can talk, they can doubt, they can gossip, but it won't shake you because you're anchored in something stronger than their words. You don't need their validation because your vision was given to you, not to them. They can't see what you see, they can't feel what you feel, and they can't dream what you dream. So how could they ever validate something that wasn't meant for them to understand? Stop waiting for them to get it. Stop waiting for them to clap. Stop waiting for their green light. You are the light. And when you realize that, you move without hesitation, without fear, without asking anyone for permission. Stop giving energy to negativity because the more you feed it, the stronger it grows. Negative people thrive on attention. They survive on the reactions you give them, the arguments you start, and the time you waste trying to prove them wrong. Every second you spend explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you is a second you could have invested in your growth. The truth is, they don't want understanding, they want control. They want to pull you into their world of doubt and insecurity, because if they can't rise, they want to make sure you don't rise either. But you have to make a decision. Is their negativity worth your energy, or is your future worth protecting? Every time you focus on negativity, you lose focus on purpose. You can't move forward and look backward at the same time. You can't build and argue at the same time. Negative people know this, and that's why they bait you with comments, criticism, and drama. They know if they can distract you, they can delay you. They know if they can get you to react emotionally, they can slow your progress. But the truth is, no one can steal your time without your permission. You choose where your energy goes. And the moment you decide their words are not worth your peace, you reclaim control over your life. Ignoring negativity is not weakness, it's wisdom. It takes strength to stay silent when you could clap back. It takes discipline to stay focused when everything in you wants to prove them wrong. But think about it. What do you really gain by fighting with someone who is committed to losing? What do you win by arguing with someone who doesn't want a solution, only a reaction? The best response to negativity is progress. The best clap back is success. Because nothing frustrates a negative person more than watching you thrive while they waste their life talking. You can't stop people from being negative, but you can stop giving them your energy. Every time you respond, you validate their power. Every time you engage, you lower yourself to their level. And when you lower yourself, you compromise your purpose. But when you rise above it, when you choose to focus on your vision instead of their voices, you take away everything they wanted from you. They wanted attention, you gave them silence. They wanted distraction, you gave them focus. They wanted control, you gave them distance. That's how you win. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Spend it on building, not battling. Spend it on growth, not gossip. Spend it on creating, not complaining. Because at the end of the day, the people who tried to drag you down will still be stuck in the same place, talking about the same things, while you're out there breaking barriers, reaching goals, and living the life they said you couldn't have. Never dim your light for their comfort because your brightness was never meant to be hidden. Some people will feel uncomfortable when you shine because your success exposes their complacency. When you walk with confidence, when you pursue your dreams boldly, when you start achieving what others only talk about. It makes them uneasy because it reminds them of what they could have done but didn't. Instead of being inspired, they get offended. Instead of celebrating you, they criticize you. And the easiest way for them to deal with their discomfort is to convince you to turn your light down, to make yourself smaller, quieter, less noticeable so they can feel big again. The problem is, the world doesn't need a dimmed version of you. It needs you at your brightest. Your light might make some people uncomfortable, but it will give others hope. It will show someone in the dark that there's a way forward. When you shrink, you don't just rob yourself. You rob every person who could have been inspired by your courage. And for what? To make someone who refuses to grow feel okay about staying the same. That's not your responsibility. You weren't given your gifts, your talents, your drive to keep them hidden because someone else can't handle it. The truth is, no matter how much you dim your light, negative people will still find something to dislike. If you shine too bright, they say you're arrogant. If you shine too little, they say you're a failure. So why waste time trying to satisfy people who are committed to misunderstanding you? Live big, dream loud. Walk in every room like you belong there because you do. And when someone says you're too much, understand that what they really mean is, I can't match that. Their discomfort has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Your light represents freedom, confidence, and possibility. People who refuse to work on themselves will always feel threatened by those who do. But you can't dim your greatness just because someone else hasn't found theirs. You can't apologize for working hard, for believing in yourself, for winning after all the losses you've endured. Every time you tone yourself down, you're telling the world you agree with their limits. And that's a lie. You were built to stand out, not blend in. When you refuse to dim your light, you give others permission to do the same. You become proof that it's okay to be bold. It's okay to chase dreams without apology. It's okay to live fully even if people talk. Let them talk, let them whisper, let them throw shade. Shade only proves the light is real. And the brighter you shine, the harder it is for darkness to survive. Your resilience is what they hate the most because it destroys every expectation they had for you. They were waiting for you to break, hoping you would give up, certain you wouldn't survive the storm. They were counting the moments until you quit so they could point and say, "See, I told you." But every time you rise after a fall, every time you stand back up when life knocks you down, you take away the story they were ready to tell about you. They hate your resilience because it makes their predictions look foolish. It makes their doubts look small. It proves that no matter what happens, you will not stay down, and that frustrates people who gave up the first time life hit them. Resilience is power. It's strength they can't measure, a fire they can't put out. It doesn't come from never falling, it comes from refusing to stay down. And that's what eats them alive. They wanted you broken because it would justify their brokenness. They wanted you to surrender because it would validate their surrender. But when you rise, you remind them that giving up was a choice, and they chose it. You show them that pain doesn't have to be permanent, that failure doesn't have to be final, that losses don't have to define the rest of your life. And that truth cuts deep because it forces them to face themselves. Your resilience makes you unstoppable because it means nothing can end you. Not a failure, not a betrayal, not a setback, not a season of struggle. You've been through storms that were designed to destroy you, and you came out standing. You've walked through fires that should have burned you, but now you carry the heat as strength. And every time you rise, you gain something new: wisdom, strength, courage, perspective. That's what they don't understand. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about coming back better, sharper, stronger than before. Negative people hate that because they can't figure out how you keep going. They wonder why the things that crushed others didn't crush you. They can't explain why you're still moving, still dreaming, still believing after everything you've faced. So they try to break your spirit in other ways. They spread rumors, they criticize, they throw shade, hoping this time you'll stop. But you don't. You keep going because your strength doesn't come from them. It comes from within. It comes from every battle you've fought and survived, from every tear you turned into fuel, from every moment you thought you were finished but found a reason to keep fighting. They hate your resilience because it makes you dangerous to doubt. It makes you unpredictable. They can't stop you. They can't define you. They can't control you. And the more you rise, the louder you silence their negativity without saying a single word. Your dreams and purpose are bigger than their doubts, because what you carry inside you was never meant to be limited by someone else's opinion. Doubts are small, and dreams are limitless. People who live in fear will always try to shrink you down to the size of their thinking. They will tell you what can't be done, what's unrealistic, what's too much for someone like you. But their words have no power unless you give them power. Your dreams were given to you for a reason. They are tied to your purpose, and your purpose is something no one else can see as clearly as you. That's why you can't let their doubts dictate your direction. When someone doubts you, it says more about them than it does about you. Doubt is their reflection, not your reality. It comes from their own limitations, their own fear of failure, their own history of giving up. People who quit on themselves will always try to convince you to quit too, because your success would remind them of what they could have achieved. They use words like impossible and unrealistic, because those words have kept them safe from trying, safe from risking, safe from being disappointed. But what they don't understand is that you weren't built for safe. You were built for impact. And impact requires courage. It requires risk. It requires the willingness to dream bigger than your environment. Your purpose is not up for debate. It's not a group decision. It doesn't need a vote. It was designed specifically for you. And that means you don't need anyone else to approve it before you pursue it. The world doesn't get to decide how far you go. They can doubt you all they want, but doubt doesn't determine destiny. Your actions do. Every time you take a step toward your dream, every time you choose faith over fear, you prove that their words have no weight. The truth is, some people will never believe in you until after you succeed, and even then, they'll call it luck. But you don't need their belief. You don't need their validation. You don't need their understanding. If your dream makes sense to everyone, it's not big enough. Big dreams scare small minds. That's why they doubt you. That's why they laugh. That's why they try to talk you out of it, because they can't see what you see. But their lack of vision does not cancel your vision. Your dreams and purpose will always be bigger than their doubts, because your life was designed for more than mediocrity. You are meant to build what hasn't been built, do what hasn't been done, and go where others were afraid to go. So let them doubt, let them whisper, let them talk. Because while they're talking, you'll be building, you'll be creating. You'll be proving that nothing is stronger than a person who knows why they're here and refuses to stop until they fulfill it. Ignore and outwork negative voices because nothing defeats criticism faster than results. Words are cheap, but effort speaks louder than any opinion. The truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. If you fail, they'll say they were right. If you succeed, they'll say you got lucky. That means you can't waste your time trying to win arguments with people who are committed to doubting you. Arguing won't change their mind, but your consistency will silence their voices. When you show up day after day, grinding, pushing, and making progress, you prove what words can't deny. You can't fake results, and you can't argue with success. Negative voices will come from everywhere: friends, family, coworkers, even strangers. But you have to train yourself to tune them out. They don't live your life, they don't carry your dreams, they don't understand your vision because it wasn't given to them, it was given to you. So why would you let someone who isn't walking your path tell you where to go? Their opinions are not directions. Their doubts are not facts. They're just noise, and the best way to handle noise is to keep moving. You don't stop in the middle of a race to explain why you're running. You keep running because the finish line will say everything you need to say. Working harder than the negative voices doesn't just shut them down. It transforms you. Every time you choose action over argument, you grow stronger. You learn, you build, You improve. While they're talking, you're stacking skills. While they're criticizing, you're creating opportunities. While they're laughing, you're laying the foundation for something they'll one day have to respect. That's the beauty of discipline. It turns doubt into fuel. Every negative word becomes motivation. Every attempt to pull you down becomes proof that you're rising higher. Outworking negativity also teaches patience. Success takes time, and the voices will get louder when results take longer than expected. That's when most people quit. Not because they weren't capable, but because they let the noise get inside their head. You can't let that happen. You have to build such a strong focus that opinions can't penetrate it. Stay locked in on your goals. Stay obsessed with the process. Because when your mind is consumed with progress, there's no space for doubt. One day, the same voices that doubted you will be the ones asking how you did it. And you won't even need to answer because the evidence will be in front of them. They'll see the success, the growth, the transformation, and realize that while they were talking, you were working. That's why ignoring and outworking negative voices is the ultimate response. It's not about proving them wrong, it's about proving yourself right every single day, through relentless action that leaves no room for excuses. They can't destroy what they didn't build because your purpose, your vision, and your identity were never created by them in the first place. The people who criticize you, doubt you, or try to tear you down were never responsible for putting the greatness inside of you. They didn't give you your talents. They didn't shape your dreams. And they didn't walk through the fire that built your character. So, no matter what they say or do, they can't take away something they never had the power to give. Their words may sting for a moment, their actions may cause temporary obstacles, but they cannot touch the foundation of who you are because that foundation wasn't laid by them. When people try to destroy you, it often comes from a place of insecurity. They see your potential, and it scares them because it reflects what they could have achieved but didn't. So they try to sabotage, to spread rumors, to block opportunities. But here's what they don't understand. Your success doesn't depend on their approval, and your progress doesn't stop because of their hate. They can slam doors, but they can't stop you from building your own. They can take away support, but they can't take away the strength you've developed from years of struggle. They can't cancel a destiny that was never in their hands to begin with. Every time someone tries to destroy you, they reveal a misunderstanding about where your power comes from. They think your power comes from them liking you, accepting you, or helping you, but real power comes from persistence. It comes from discipline. It comes from the decision to keep moving when everything around you says stop. That's why you keep winning even when people turn against you. Because your source is deeper than their opinion. When you understand that no one can destroy what they didn't build, you stop living in fear of losing people or opportunities. You stop begging for support from people who don't want to give it. You stop shrinking because someone threatened to walk away. If they didn't build you, they can't break you. If they didn't give you the gift, they can't take it away. That truth gives you freedom, the freedom to walk boldly into every room, to speak your vision with confidence, to pursue your dreams without worrying about who stays or who leaves. People can try to block your path, but when you're determined, you find another route. They can throw stones, but you use them to build. They can try to silence you, but your results speak louder than anything they can say. That's why their attempts fail every time, because your foundation is unshakable. It wasn't built on approval, it wasn't built on popularity, it wasn't built on shortcuts. It was built on hard work, resilience, and faith. And those are things no one else can destroy. Keep moving forward no matter what, because progress is the greatest answer to every obstacle, every doubt, and every attempt to hold you back. The easiest thing in the world is to stop when things get hard. Most people do. They hit a wall and turn around. They face rejection and decide it's a sign to quit. They listen to the negative voices and convince themselves it's not worth it. But the difference between those who make it and those who don't is simple. Some keep moving. They take the next step even when the road looks impossible, even when they're tired, even when no one is cheering for them. That kind of persistence is rare. and it's the very thing that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. Life will throw distractions at you. It will throw failures, setbacks, and disappointments. People will doubt you, criticize you, and sometimes even try to sabotage you. But none of those things have the power to stop you unless you hand that power over to them. The truth is, momentum comes from movement. Even the smallest step forward is progress, and progress creates possibilities. When you keep moving, you stay in control. When you stop, you lose control and give circumstances the upper hand. That's why you can't afford to pause for too long. You can rest, but don't quit. You can take a break, but don't lose sight of the goal. Every great success story has one thing in common: persistence. Not perfection, not luck, not everything going right persistence. The willingness to keep going after failure, to show up when it's inconvenient, to keep believing when nothing around you gives you a reason to. That's where strength is born. Every challenge you face is not a dead end. It's a test to see if you're serious about what you say you want. And the only way to pass that test is to keep moving forward. When you keep moving, you silence negativity without speaking a word. You prove wrong every voice that said you couldn't make it. You send a message louder than any argument could: I'm still here. That's power. That's strength, and it's the one thing no one can take from you, because movement is your choice. No one can walk for you. No one can stop your legs from moving but you. Even if the progress feels slow, even if the results aren't visible yet, movement is victory. It means you're refusing to settle, refusing to give up, refusing to let life dictate your future. Keep moving forward, because the dream you want is ahead of you, not behind you. The opportunities you're waiting for are on the other side of persistence. And the only way you'll ever see them is if you refuse to stop. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, no matter what anyone says.